Welcome back, guys, on my YouTube channel. Today I'm very excited because I'm here with a special build that I did last year for the EICMA trade show for the Denali booth. This is something I do sometimes. Companies, motor industry companies ask me to build some special, unique custom bikes to use then at trade shows or for catalogs and so on. Very cool project that actually went viral on Instagram. The bike got over 55,000 likes, so didn't expect that. There's a lot involved with this bike. It was very time consuming, so even when you ask me, how much it costs to do a bike like this, it's definitely not a budget for everyone. It's for someone that wants, a unique collector's piece. So, you are looking at budgets around 40,000-50,000 euros. But with no further ado, I want to tell you everything about this bike because we stripped it down all the way to the frame and then started rebuilding it from scratch. This Tenere 700 doesn't look like any other Tenere, reason for which is starting from the front. You see we have the Denali D7 Pro light and a custom windshield. Basically, we needed to reverse engineer everything based on the light. Denali supplied us with the D7 Pro, and around this we made the brackets for the nav tower to mount it, and then we made a brand new mold of the whole windshield in order to have the light in the right position and really make the bike look like a production bike. I think this has been achieved. I'm very pleased with the looks of the front windshield, even though I must say, even during EICMA, the opinions were very different. So it's not a bike everyone liked, but it's a bike that divided the public. So people just absolutely loved it. Other people really dislike it. It's subjective on what look you want, but always remember, only experimenting you can bring an evolution, you can do something different. It's too easy to make something that everyone is used to and likes. It's better to go more extreme like this case. Other than the D7 Pro light, we also placed the brand new DL2 pod lights here on the crash bars. These crash bars are from Outback Motor Tech. No need to say that these are definitely the top on the market and that really prevent your bike of getting scratched in case you crash. I had these in stock in blue, but we powder coat them in matte white. Furthermore, we also placed the Denali turn indicators. Now from this angle, you see that we also changed the handguards. We went for the bark busters. Never used them, so I really wanted to try and put these. I think design-wise, they look very great. I'm not a big fan of a metal bar, but even here, opinions are different. For this bike, we wanted to do something different, and I think that especially the plastic looks really, really cool and aggressive. Moving on to other interesting things, we changed the handlebar. We went for the Pro Taper, the YZ High Bend, which is the handlebar I put on the bikes I built for Paul Tarres and Alessandro Botturi to Race Africa race. So this is the exact same handlebar that I used for the factory Yamaha bikes at Africa race. On top of the handlebar, we have the Rebel X bar riser where we placed and moved the dashboard directly here on the handlebar. Triple clamps have been changed because we went full factory, so factory KYB 48mm suspensions with 270mm of travel. Once again, these are the exact same that I install on the factory Yamaha bikes. And as for every fork we manufacture, they're manufactured customized for the rider. So these were customized for my needs, as I think I'm gonna keep this bike, or if I find any bike collector that wants it, I can discuss selling this bike, which is brand new. Moving down below, we changed also the front fender. That is a special mold, special design we made with the front grille that deflects the air with some small deflectors towards the bash plate where we have some vents to keep the engine as cool as possible. This low fender is very expensive, so I guess that's the reason Rebel X doesn't place it on the web shop. But if you contact them, as I get many requests, you can ask about having this low fender produced, but you're looking around 500 euros to get it, because it's a custom mold divided in more pieces, so it's a complex part to manufacture. Now that you're on the side of the bike, first thing you notice is the full custom sticker kit. This was designed together with SKDA, Australian company, I think the best in the graphics business. We designed this together, then we printed it locally as we were very short on time. But underneath you see the OEM plastics. We tear them apart and we coated every single plastic, including the fuel tank, meaning these are not available. You can't find them on the market. For sure, you can find the white race tech version plastics, but not the OEM, and we wanted to keep the OEM design. Moving down, you notice even the frame. We stripped the bike as we also removed completely the ABS, and together with the Outback Motortech crash bars, we powder coated the whole frame in white, you know, to really look at every single minor detail to build an epic bike like there's no one else. There have been some replicas, some people tried to replicate, you know, the graphic and everything, but you never reach this attention to detail unless you completely strip out the bike and, you know, go all the way down to the frame, because even on the engine, we even did the Cerakote on the engine covers, on clutch cover, and on the header. I know you might be asking me why I didn't put the GYTR clutch cover, the reason for which was a design purpose. This is a design bike. We wanted everything to match, so we had to have both engine casing match of the same color. That's the reason why we kept these. We then changed the foot pegs. We went for the Rebel X Rally foot pegs. These have so much more surface, and with these interchangeable pins, you get really a lot of grip. They might wear out your boot a bit quicker, but in case of mud or long rides where you want comfort, there's nothing better than these. As I mentioned earlier, since my experience running the factory Yamaha team and being the project manager of the Tenere GYTR prototype, cooling is always important, because when you go in harsh extreme conditions, it can really make a difference. Reason for which we changed the radiator hoses. Rebel X made a very limited edition of purple hoses. These are, I think, only 5 sets were produced, as we needed to match the bike mood and feel and looks. To match the whole look of the bike, we went with a white bash plate. This is from a German company. Now I don't remember the name. What we liked about this bash plate is that it's made in 2 sections, so you have like a frame that goes mounted on the bike, and then you mount the bash plate on this bracket. We had to slightly trim it in order to fit it with the crash bars, but it's minimal, but gives you enough protection while letting here the front all nice and free, in order to move freely with your foot and not have, you know, anything bulky on the bike. As you well know, the rims and wheels of the standard Tenere are a bit weak and can easily get damaged when riding off-road, but also the rear is a 14-inch rim, which doesn't let you mount moose and more off-road tires. We changed the wheels. We went with the Han wheels with CNC machined hubs and reinforced spokes on the front and on the rear with the purple rims. This is very exclusive. You don't find them on catalog. Basically, most parts for this bike were custom made. On the wheels, we put a set of Pirelli tires. On the front wheel, we then removed 1 brake disc and 1 caliper, because we removed the whole ABS system and we put the Motocross Master cylinder. In this way, we get a much better and more reactive performance of the bike when going down on the brakes, while also removing quite quite a lot of weight from the bike. Even though this setup that we developed with KYB is designed to fit even the two calipers, so if anyone wanted, they could fit all the OEM setup and the OEM wheel, as the axle stays the same, as also the geometry and the offset stays the same. This time you were waiting for the Selle della Valle, but in this case, Selle della Valle did not have this color material, and we asked SKDA in Australia if they had, you know, a material to match the whole look of the bike, and they custom made this seat cover in a rubberized materials with these strips that need to add grip in case of mud. What is another masterpiece that was custom developed for this build is the full Scalvini exhaust. Scalvini is the surname of the owner of Scalvini Racing, who is an ex-MotoGP rider. We've known each other for so many years. He's very specialized in the two-strokes production of exhausts. Here he custom made us a full stainless steel exhaust, which, by the way, is available at Rebel X in different colors, because we know this is definitely not a very common color for an exhaust, but we had to make the bike stand out and be really unique. The other colors in which you can have the muffler are black and gray. This exhaust delivers more power, is not street legal, as it makes quite a bit of noise, even though we have the DB killer installed. And actually this custom anodization was made only for this project, meaning the muffler with this color is available only on request and will never be on catalog. One interesting part of this full exhaust, other than being much simple to install, is that it lets you mount the OEM protector of the OEM muffler. So no need to change that, you just reuse the OEM. I know many of you will ask, why didn't you make the exhaust go all the way up? It's a style decision. Personally, I like it like this because it reminds me of, you know, like my Dakar bike and your common Dakar rally factory bikes. You might have not have noticed, but removing the ABS, we also changed the rear master cylinder, going always for the YZ motocross version. This is because we want a very reactive brake when we are going very fast. We want to have an immediate feel on the brake and be able to stop in a very short time. To mount your YZ master cylinder, you need a custom bracket that Rebel X makes. Once you change the master cylinders, both on the front and on the rear, you will also have to change the brake hoses, as they are a bit different from OEM. Furthermore, to compensate the fact that the bike has a longer travel on the front and has raised on the front, we went with the rear tractive shock, the plus 30mm, so it makes the bike more balanced, but the full bike is taller of a few centimeters compared to the OEM, adding also the height we added with the rally seat. Something I'm sure some of you might have already commented after seeing the initial intro is the fact the bike has no chain. I still didn't have time to put it on, but the reason is that we changed both sprockets in order to put a 520 chain, because the 520 has a bit less drag compared to the 525 OEM chain. And we put a sprocket from Chiaravalli that is inside aluminum and on the external is steel, as it reduces a bit the weight compared to the full steel sprockets, but at the same time gives the longevity to the sprocket being the external in steel. From this view, you see other two details of this bike, which is on the front, we changed the fuel cap. The OEM fuel cap, sometimes it can vapor lock if you do a lot of off-road, and it can become tricky to open it. So we went with the Acerbis. Now we have the screw cap, which makes it easy in case you lose it. Or sure, if you stop with your bike somewhere at night and someone wants to pull out fuel from your tank, they'll be able to do it. But for the use we do is generally mostly off-road. This is ideal because with this vent, and now we don't have the small tip on top, but you're able to diffuse the gas that is produced by the fuel moving around the tank in order to avoid vapor lock. Moving on the back, we changed the license plate holder. We all know no one likes the license plate holder, the OEM one, and the turn indicators, because once again, the OEM turn indicators look like from the 80s, and we went with the Denali in order to complete the Denali setup. From the rider's point of view, you'll see that we also changed the brake and clutch lever. We placed the Pro Taper clutch and brake lever. They look very nice in black and also have the quick adjustments to calibrate the lever in the position you want it. Moving on to the front, we have the Rebel X nav tower for the T7, on which, other than placing the Denali D7 Pro Lite, we put the cross-call tablet. This is a rugged tablet, as we have all the tablets on the market from every brand to do test fittings. We wanted for this build to bring a different tablet, and cross-call, which is distributed by Athena. Athena supported us, supported the Yamaha factory team by supplying all the tablet and smartphone devices for the whole team. It's a reliable tablet. Only downside, it doesn't have the pins or a connector for charging, so you'll have to use the normal USB-C plug and plug it into the USB ports that you can put on the Rebel X nav tower. To hold this tablet, there is a company called Ursui System from Spain that makes brackets built also on silent blocks for all the major tablets that don't come with a bracket, meaning not only the cross-call, but also the Samsung Galaxy Active, which is a tablet that is widely used, and other models. Go check their website if you're curious to see if they have the bracket for your model. One thing we didn't yet put on the bike, but we plan on putting, is a Bluetooth switch in order to command our tablet. To end with, the other things we changed is the airbox, the ECU, and the battery. The airbox is the GYTR one with the big foam filter, and the ECU, because combined with also the exhaust, it gives much more power to the bike. And on the sprocket, we added a couple of teeth just to have it much more responsive and with much more torque at the low RPM. The battery, we went with a lithium GET battery to reduce the weight and have more space under the seat for our tools. Now guys, let me know down in the comments what you think about this bike, if you like it, if you don't like it, if it has inspired you to make any modifications on your T7. Be sure, as always, to subscribe to my channel and to follow me on Instagram, as many times it can happen that the video of the bike builds come at a later date compared to when I post news about them on Instagram. Thanks for your support, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao!